In this video, I'm going to be outlining what I found to be helpful in finding my side hustle and eventual business idea. I want to add a quick disclaimer here that if you're looking for something kind of quick and easy, then this probably isn't the video for you. But if you're looking for your side hustle and eventual business idea to add more meaning and purpose to your life, then this is the video for you. And this video is really for people who are looking for a business idea that will one day lead them to leaving their 9-to-5 job. Hey everyone, I'm Alex. I'm a former 9-to-5er turned life coach, and I'm here to help you start your dream biz and leave your 9-to-5 job. So if you're new to the channel, I'm just going to quickly catch you up. And in the last couple of weeks, I've been exploring my journey from 9-to-5 employee to struggling to kind of figure out what I was doing next with my life. And now we're at the phase where I'm recalling how I figured out my business idea. So once I knew that I was ready to leave engineering as a career behind, I had to figure out what I would do next with my life. And looking back on this, I really took kind of a two-pronged approach. And so on the one hand, I had a bunch of ideas and interests that I wanted to explore and kind of get a sense for how I liked them and make sure that I wasn't going to live with the sort of what if because I had never explored them. And on the other hand, I also was looking for really what my purpose was in life. I really wanted my next steps to be very meaningful. And so I did a lot of soul searching around, how do you find your purpose? Or like, what am I here to do? What is the real impact that I'm here to have? So I feel like in this phase, I was really walking down two kind of parallel paths. So one path where I was exploring all of my ideas and interests and starting side hustles and kind of learning about myself and how to run a business on the side and things like that. And on the other path, I was also diving deeper and trying to really understand myself for probably the first time in my whole life and understand, what am I passionate about? What are my values? What am I here to do? What is my eventual purpose in this life? And for me, when I thought about kind of leaving my 9-to-5 career behind, I wasn't one of those people that was kind of always sitting on this idea. Like I didn't have an idea of what I wanted to do next. I didn't have like a secret passion that I was telling myself that I would one day go do. I really felt like I was starting from a blank slate. But I did know that I had a lot of interests at the time, and I also had existing hobbies that I really enjoyed. And so I think part of this process was exploring these other aspects of myself and other interests that I hadn't allowed myself to really explore because I had been so focused on engineering and the kind of idea of myself as an engineer, and anything that didn't fit the kind of mold of an engineer, I hadn't really been embracing. So one of the ideas that I explored at that time was photography because it had been a hobby of mine for a really long time and I really enjoyed it. And I thought, you know what, this is something that I'm already good at. I could quickly and easily turn this into a business and maybe I'll start making money that way. I had also been really curious about everything in the design world or the design realm. So I had always really looked at interior design and graphic design and more artistic pursuits, and I had been very fascinated by them. And it was something that I'd always been interested in, but it was something that I hadn't really explored or developed in myself because I had focused on being more of that engineer. And so during this time, I really found myself kind of reading about graphic design and starting to dabble with that. And I had started a little Etsy shop and had started producing digital download templates, and that did pretty well. The last thing that I started at this time was a YouTube channel. So I have had a YouTube channel before this YouTube channel. I started it back in 2019, and the reason I started this channel was because I've always loved YouTube. It's always kind of been my TV, if you will. And I've always been fascinated by all the big names that you see on YouTube, and you just imagine like, wow, they're doing something fun, they get to be creative, like they have this channel, and it also happens to pay the bills. And I'd always been very curious about pursuing that and sort of learning about the kind of back end behind the scenes of YouTube. And looking back, I definitely enjoyed all of these things that I was doing, and I still enjoy them to this day. But part of me knew that this wasn't really what I was here to do. And this was more of just like an intuitive knowing that what I was here to do was not, photography or graphic design or YouTube like solely on its own. But when you look at my business now, I definitely incorporate all of those things into what I'm doing today. So it felt like by pursuing these interests, I was kind of gearing up and getting ready for what I would be doing now in my business. So that kind of covers how I was pursuing my interests and hobbies and these ideas that I had on my list of things that I could do for my next career. And I had mentioned how I was taking this parallel track of pursuing kind of like, what is my purpose? And this definitely involved a lot of Googling, watching YouTube videos, and going down the rabbit hole of kind of personality systems. And the systems that I really gravitated towards were astrology and human design. And I felt that those were really helpful for me, especially because I felt that going down sort of the conventional path in life that I've talked about so many times on this channel, but it's the kind of school, university, corporate career path in life, I felt that I really didn't have a good sense of myself and what I liked and my interests, and really just coming back to who I am as my authentic self. And a big part of the reason why my coaching is called Authentic Life Project, because it really felt like for me coming back to my authentic self. And that's definitely a project and a process and something that you sort of peel back the layers on and discover yourself over time. And so while I do think astrology and human design are awesome, they are a much larger conversation than I want to have in this video today. So another system that I've talked about before on the channel is called the Ikigai system. And it's a Japanese system known to help you sort of find your reason in life or your purpose in life. And as I worked through my own struggles with sort of finding my direction, I turned to the Ikigai system, and I found it a really helpful kind of first start at understanding the combination of qualities that would lead to a fulfilling life and a fulfilling career. However, I do have my own modifications and my own way of sort of approaching the system that I found worked better for me, and so I'm going to be sharing that with you today. So if we look at the original Ikigai framework, we can see that it has 4 parts, and it's a Venn diagram. And the idea is that you kind of identify the qualities of each of the circles in the Venn diagram, and where those overlap, that's where you'll find fulfillment in your life and your career. And so the original system has the 4 quadrants of what you love, what you're good at, what you can get paid to do, and what the world needs. And I think this is a great starting point, and where I've expanded on it is just taking my own interpretations of what it means to love something, for example, or what it means to think about what the world needs from you as a person. So here's how I like to look at the Ikigai framework, and you'll see that I've taken out the what you can get paid for kind of category. And this is because today, with like the internet and all the ways that you can make money, I think that it's just not necessary to dwell too much on how you'll make money from what you're doing. So now we're going to go through each of the 3 categories, and I'm going to give you some tips or some reflections on how you can start thinking about these categories to help you understand what your Ikigai might be. So when we start to think about what you love doing, what I like to think about is what feels fun? What am I excited or lit up by? And what feels like it just flows when I'm doing it? And another really important consideration is alignment with your values. So often when we are living out of alignment with our values, or maybe our values are a little out of balance, that's when we can start to feel that lack of fulfillment in our life and what we're doing. And our values are really just a reflection of, what's most important in life to me. I think I'm going to make a separate video on how to identify your values, but something that you can start to think about is, When was the last time that I felt really happy and fulfilled in life? And what was I doing? What were the qualities of what I was doing, who I was with, or how I was serving people, whatever it is? And from there, you can start to think about what are some values that I can tease out of this situation in life when I was feeling like life was great. Another aspect of doing something that you love that's really important to me is that while you're doing it, it's in alignment with your ideal lifestyle. So you can think about, do I want to be working outdoors all day, or do I want to be working indoors? Do I want to be able to work from anywhere, or am I okay working behind a desk for someone else? Those are the types of questions that you want to ask yourself with your lifestyle. You want to ask, well, how many hours a week do I want to work? Or what sort of flexibility do I want to have in my life? So moving on to the what you're good at category, this is another one of those categories that I try not to worry about too much. So if you already have an existing skill that you're good at that could also be in alignment with the other two categories, then maybe you explore that. And for me, I also really explored learning new skills along my kind of self-discovery journey. So I was learning about graphic design. I was learning about, how to create videos and how to create a YouTube channel and things like that, or even how to be a coach. I did not know how to be a coach when I went into this, but I had this hunch that maybe this is something that I would enjoy doing. It would align with all the other areas. So this is an area where I am going to build my skill and become skilled. And so the last category of the framework that I use is what the world needs. And to get your creative juices flowing here, something that you can ask yourself is something along the lines of, the world would be perfect tomorrow if everyone fill in the blank. So the world would be perfect if everyone had what, or experienced what, or was inspired to do what. So whatever kind of comes to mind for you, maybe leading you in the direction of what you're here to serve the world. And this category is really like writing your own personal vision statement. So it's really thinking about, what is your vision for the future? What do you think is important? What impact do you want to have on the world? Or where do you want to see the world be as a result of your services or your product? And once you've had a good brainstorm or journaling session on these kind of three categories, then the last part is really just to put them together. And the Venn diagram presentation of this system would lead you to aim to find the intersection of all of these places. And for me personally, I think the most important category to kind of figure out first is what the world needs. Like, what impact do you want to have on the world? Or what do you think would make the world a better place from your point of view? And from there, you can determine, what skills do I need to support this? And what way could I do this that it would be fun and support my ideal lifestyle? And you can kind of work backwards from there. But again, that's just my personal take on things. And if you have a different approach, or if you think another category is the category that you want to start with, go ahead and do that. So for me, when I think about my example with this, I knew that for me to love what I was doing, I wanted there to be some sort of fun and creative element to it. And I really wanted to have a lot more of a flexible lifestyle. I wanted to be able to work remotely, and I wanted to have an unlimited earning potential. And for me, that really just means that I am working for myself and I have a career that is kind of based on the internet. So I'm not limited in who I can work with as far as where they live or the number of people. And there's just ways for me to grow and expand my business when that time comes. And as far as the what you're good at category, like I said earlier, I already had this background in photography and I already had this interest in graphic design. And so that really supported me in doing all of the content creation aspects of having an online business. And another skill that I really brought to this was I love learning, and I'm someone that's very capable when it comes to learning new things and teaching myself new things. So when it comes to starting a business, I felt that I had the ability to either learn skills that I needed, or I already had the skills that I needed. And then when it comes to what the world needs, for me, my whole experience kind of unconsciously going down the conveyor belt of life into a job and career that I didn't love had a big impact on me. And I felt that through doing this, I lost touch with my authentic self. And so you could say that my vision statement is something like authenticity through entrepreneurship. I really want people to be able to embrace their authentic selves and find freedom in their lives through having their own business. So you can see how all of this kind of combines, where the career path of being an online kind of content creator, entrepreneur, has the potential to have a lot of flexibility and freedom, and I can do things in a way that makes me feel happy and fulfilled. It uses the skills that I have, and it also has the potential to have the impact that I want to have on this planet. So I hope that helped you, and I hope you can start to find some clarity on your next steps if you work through this exercise. Let me know how it goes down in the comments. I would love to hear back from you and hear what you're working on, if you're kind of struggling with this sort of thing, and if it helped you get any clarity. Make sure to leave me a like if you enjoyed the video as well, and if you like this type of content, then make sure to subscribe for weekly videos, and I'll see you in the next video.